Okay, so
But that's not a diss. Meek likes being brought up in that song. I don't know why you lowering his thing. You think you're doing him a favor. He's very, very happy being mentioned, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj has just blown the lid off something massive, and it's dragging down some of the biggest names in the game. You won't believe the firestorm she's ignited, and the people caught in the middle of this chaos are none other than Meek Mill and Jay-Z. That's right, Nicki is out here claiming that these two have been involved in a situation that's not only inappropriate, but downright shocking. The music industry is on fire, trying to make sense of these wild accusations. So, is Meek really caught up as someone special on the side? Let's dig into the layers of this unbelievable scandal and break it all down. First off, it wasn't always drama and finger pointing between Meek Mill and Nicki Minaj. Let's not forget, these two were once each other's ride or die. Their bond wasn't just professional, it was personal. Back in the day, Nicki and Meek were the industry's power couple, working together on some iconic projects under Maybach Music Group and Cash Money Records. Those collabs were undeniable, creating chart-topping hits that had everyone singing along. Eventually, all that time in the studio turned into something more. By 2015, the two rappers had made it official and were proudly flaunting their relationship for the world to see. Whether it was through lovey-dovey Instagram posts or them showing up together at events, they didn't hold back when it came to proclaiming their love. From matching outfits to vacation snaps, Nicki and Meek seemed like a match made in music heaven. Their relationship was the talk of the town, giving fans endless couple goals moments. But little did anyone know that behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Fast forward to now, and Nicki is turning heads with her bombshell claims about Meek and Jay-Z's alleged antics. These two were absolutely inseparable back in the day. Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill seemed like the ultimate hip-hop power couple, constantly being spotted together, laughing, hanging out, and just radiating that chummy, lovey-dovey energy that had fans eating it up. Whether it was casual outings or big events, they always gave off the vibe that they couldn't get enough of each other. From award shows to exclusive parties, Nicki and Meek were the picture-perfect duo, always stealing the spotlight. Walking hand in hand down red carpets and slaying every appearance, they looked like they were living a fairy tale. But it wasn't just about showing up and looking fabulous. These two took their chemistry to the studio and dropped some bangers. Their biggest collab, All Eyes on You featuring Chris Brown, was an instant hit, climbing the charts and becoming an anthem for fans everywhere. From the outside, their relationship seemed like a dream come true. Jet-setting together, working on music, and supporting each other's careers. It really felt like they were living their best lives. Or at least, that's how it seemed. Like many Hollywood romances though, Nicki and Meek's story followed a sadly familiar path. Things eventually took a turn for the worse, and their relationship came to a dramatic end. And when we say dramatic, we mean it. This wasn't one of those quiet, respectful splits. Oh no. Their breakup was messy, Hollywood messy. Post-split, the claws came out, and the drama spilled over onto social media for the whole world to see. Nicki and Meek traded brutal blows on Instagram and Twitter, airing out all their dirty laundry like there was no tomorrow. It wasn't long after their breakup that Nicki Minaj started dating someone new, and the internet went wild when it turned out to be none other than Nas. And let's just say, Meek Mill was not happy about it. In fact, Nicki made it very clear that Meek wasn't over her, revealing in interviews that he kept trying to reach out to her, even while she was moving on with Nas. Nicki didn't hold back. She blasted Meek in her hit track Barbie Dreams, calling him out for still lurking in her DMs. Fans were shook. It was like she handed him a public L in the most savage way possible. And let's be real, that's not exactly the best look for a self-proclaimed hood rapper trying to maintain his tough guy image. The tension between these two didn't just simmer, it boiled over. Their beef lasted for years, with both Nicki and Meek throwing shade and spilling tea that left lasting marks on both of their careers. From cryptic tweets to scathing lyrics, the back and forth was like a never-ending boxing match, each round messier than the last. But while the drama with Nicki raged on, Meek's professional life was still thriving, especially his connection with Jay-Z. The two rap powerhouses have a long-standing relationship in the music industry, collaborating on tracks that have made serious waves. One of their biggest hits, What's Free, featuring Rick Ross, was a game changer. The song wasn't just a bop, it sparked conversations across the rap world with its raw and unapologetic lyrics. Over the years, Meek and Jay-Z have strengthened their bond, turning their professional partnership into something much bigger. Their latest move? A groundbreaking business venture that has the entire industry talking. Meek recently launched his very own record label, Dream Chasers Label, in a joint deal with Jay-Z's Roc Nation. This isn't just a win for Meek, it's a major milestone. For him, this record label isn't just about making money, it's about building a legacy and paving the way for the next generation of hip-hop talent. And with Jay-Z's backing, you already know this is going to be big. In an insightful interview with CBS News, Meek Mill and Jay-Z shed light on why they decided to team up for their groundbreaking collaboration. And trust me, it's more than just about business. Jay-Z, ever the visionary, made it clear while it sat there that this move was all about reclaiming power in an industry that hasn't always been kind to artists. He boldly declared that it was time to stop playing small, saying, "We're not shining shoes anymore." That statement alone showed how serious these two are about making their mark and elevating themselves to the top of the game. Meek, on the other hand, couldn't help but gush about Jay-Z and the monumental influence he's had on both his career and his personal growth. He called Hov the GOAT, saying that working with him felt like a dream finally coming true. For Meek, this partnership wasn't just business, it was deeply personal. He described how both he and Jay came from similar backgrounds, enduring the same struggles and grinding their way to success. This shared history, Meek explained, is what makes the joint venture so meaningful. But the mission behind the collaboration goes even deeper. According to Meek, the goal isn't just about creating chart-topping hits or stacking profits. It's about giving back. Together, they aim to uplift young talent from underserved communities, providing opportunities for the next generation of artists to shine. For Meek, this isn't just about music. It's about creating a legacy and promoting their culture on a global scale. And it's not just business that ties these two together. They seem to share a strong camaraderie off the clock as well. A perfect example, both Jay-Z and Meek were spotted at the Black Billionaires Lunch, hosted by Diddy, an exclusive event celebrating the achievements of successful black men in the industry. The atmosphere was electric as these icons toasted to their triumphs, laughed over drinks, and exemplified the unity and brotherhood they're trying to cultivate within the industry. Now I know you're all dying to know how this dramatic entanglement between Nicki Minaj, Meek Mill, and Jay-Z took such a wild turn. Well, buckle up, because it all traces back to Jay-Z's critically acclaimed studio album, 444, which dropped in 2017. The same year Nicki and Meek's fiery relationship came to a screeching halt. The album was nothing short of a cultural phenomenon, debuting at #1 on the US Billboard 200 with an impressive 262,000 album equivalent units sold in just its first week. It didn't stop there. Within 6 days, 444 went platinum, marking Hov's record-breaking 14th chart-topping album. Talk about unstoppable. And guess who was vibing hard to this album? That's right, Meek Mill. The rapper couldn't get enough of it, posting about the tracks non-stop and practically singing Jay-Z's praises for weeks. At first glance, it seemed harmless, just one rapper appreciating another legend's work. But to Nicki Minaj, it hit a nerve. Real hard. Nicki, already dealing with the emotional aftermath of their breakup, was less than impressed with Meek's over-the-top admiration for Jay, and instead of staying quiet, the queen of rap decided to get real shady about it. She took to Instagram, where she posted a group picture with a caption so loaded it sent shockwaves through the internet. Nicki wrote something to the effect that Meek and Jay were sitting there acting all wifey and throwing major side-eye their way. Fans wasted no time dissecting the post, and rumors started flying left and right. Some took Nicki's caption as lighthearted shade, but others went all in, speculating that she was hinting at something much more scandalous, a possible intimate relationship between Jay-Z and Meek Mill. Yes, you read that right. What started as a simple Instagram post spiraled into full-blown gossip, with accusations swirling that went way beyond professional camaraderie. And believe me, that wasn't all. Nicki wasn't done dragging Meek through the mud. In the same caption, she fired off another jab, saying he had made the colossal mistake of letting a baddie like her go. But it didn't stop there. Nicki went straight for the jugular, calling Meek out for flaunting his stacks of cash all over social media. She sarcastically suggested that his flashy lifestyle wasn't all it seemed, hinting that maybe he didn't even have as much money as he wanted everyone to believe. Ouch. But Nicki wasn't finished throwing shade. She doubled down by pointing out Meek's hypocrisy, claiming that when she told him posting cash on social media was corny, he shrugged her off. Yet, when Jay-Z, aka Hov, said the same thing in his album, Meek suddenly treated it like gospel truth. Talk about a double standard. Now let's rewind a little to Jay-Z's 444 album. One of the standout themes was financial literacy. Hov dropped gems about flipping your money wisely and building generational wealth instead of wasting cash for clout. He even called out the very behavior Meek was guilty of, rapping about people flashing stacks on Instagram, saying, "We don't call that money over here." A clear dig at the culture of superficial wealth that dominates social media. For Meek, who was practically the poster boy for the infamous money phone trend, posing with stacks of cash held up like a cell phone, Jay-Z's lyrics were an undeniable hit to his ego. Meek had been known for constantly posting photos of himself with piles of cash, and here was his idol outright criticizing that very behavior. So when Nicki called him out, she wasn't just taking aim at Meek's flashy antics. She was pointing out how he could fangirl over 444 while completely ignoring its core message. To Nicki, it was peak hypocrisy, and she wasn't about to let it slide. This wasn't just about a broken relationship anymore. It was a full-blown war of principles, image, and of course, social media jabs. This whole ordeal ignited a firestorm on social media. Meek ended up looking like a hypocrite, and Nicki made sure to spotlight his corny behavior for the world to see. Nicki wasn't just calling him out, she was out for blood. A woman scorned? Absolutely. As expected, there was no way Meek was gonna take all that heat lying down. No way. Known for being one of the most combative personalities on social media, Meek dove head first into the feud. He retaliated with full force, hurling some seriously harsh insults at his ex. Meek went on a tirade, calling Nicki out for everything he deemed fake. Her hair, nails, lashes, skin, and even her famous curves. It was a brutal attack, no doubt about it, and many thought it crossed the line. But hold on, here's where things get ironic. Meek, in all his fury, ranted about women embracing artificial enhancements and rebranding them as part of the baddie aesthetic. He declared that if nobody else was going to call it out, he would. And that's exactly what he did. But here's the kicker. Meek dated Nicki, knowing full well that she had all those so-called fake attributes he was suddenly blasting her for. The man was quick to criticize, but let's not forget that he wasn't complaining about her looks when they were together. This glaring contradiction made Meek's words come off as petty and shallow, and social media didn't hold back in roasting him for it. It was obvious that all this mudslinging was fueled by lingering bitterness. Meek couldn't handle Nicki moving on, and Nicki wasn't about to let Meek disrespect her publicly without clapping back. The whole situation was textbook messy, a classic case of a relationship gone sour, with both parties taking the low road and airing their grievances for the world to see. Despite all the drama and controversy, Meek Mill continues to stand firmly by Jay-Z's side. The two have joined forces to make Dream Chasers a reality, as mentioned earlier, and Meek isn't shying away from showing his unwavering support for Jay-Z, especially during one of the toughest chapters in Hov's life. Jay-Z's year has been nothing short of a nightmare, particularly with Tony Busby filing a civil lawsuit against him. The shocking allegations came from a Jane Doe who accused Jay-Z and Sean Puff Daddy Combs of assaulting her back in 2000 when she was just 13 years old. According to her claims, this horrific incident allegedly took place during an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards. These accusations are not just damaging, they could be career-ending. Jay-Z now finds himself in an incredibly precarious position. However, the rapper has vehemently denied all of the allegations. He hasn't minced words, outright accusing Tony Busby of extortion. According to Jay, this lawsuit is nothing more than a money grab. an attempt to exploit his fame and fortune for a hefty payout. Now, Jay-Z made it clear in his public statement that he won't give in, saying he refuses to pay a single cent to Busby. But he didn't stop there. In true Jay-Z fashion, he retaliated by slapping Busby with his own lawsuit. It's a battle of fire versus fire, with neither side backing down. Amid all this legal chaos, Meek Mill has stood unwavering in his support for Harv. He's been vocal about the case on Twitter, calling the lawsuit a blatant attempt to smear Jay-Z's name. In one of his posts, Meek described the situation as a false narrative, claiming it was part of a grander scheme to create a matrix web designed to control and manipulate the masses. Meek didn't hold back, suggesting that this was a calculated plan to tarnish Jay-Z's reputation and bring down other successful black rappers as well. His post struck a chord with many fans who agreed that there could be deeper forces at play, orchestrating a smear campaign against powerful figures in the industry. Meek's loyalty is evident and, frankly, admirable. He's sticking by Jay-Z through thick and thin, showing that the bond runs deeper than just music or business. This unwavering support highlights the unity and loyalty that can still exist in an industry often riddled with betrayal. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill's relationship remains beyond repair. It's crystal clear that Nicki has no interest in mending fences with her ex, and the animosity between the two only grows with every public feud and shady post. The botched relationship between these two seems like it's beyond saving, leaving nothing but bitterness and hostility in its wake. The social media feud between Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill didn't stop with just a few tweets or posts. No, these two kept the fire blazing, throwing shade at each other non-stop on Twitter and Instagram. The exchanges got so heated that Meek even brought up the legal case involving Nicki's brother, who is currently incarcerated for allegations of assaulting a minor. Meek claimed that Nicki knew about the situation long before it became public and insinuated that it was one of the reasons he chose to end their relationship. Nicki, of course, didn't take those accusations lightly. She fired back, criticizing Meek for dragging such a serious issue into their fight. She referred to the incident involving her brother as alleged, which didn't sit well with many people. The public quickly weighed in, with some slamming Nicki for seemingly downplaying the gravity of the situation. But Nicki wasn't done. She continued to accuse Meek of being obsessed with her, constantly telling him to move on and leave her alone. According to her, Meek has a pattern of interfering in her relationships. Fans have noticed this too, especially since Meek has a history of taking jabs at Nicki's boyfriends online. One of the most infamous incidents involved Nicki's ex-boyfriend, Safari. Meek reportedly sent hired goons to confront Safari in public, an action that many fans criticized as petty and unnecessary. Meek didn't stop there either. He also engaged in a fiery online feud with Nicki's current husband, Kenneth Petty, throwing shade and making things messy for everyone involved. This recurring behavior has led many to believe that Meek simply couldn't let go of Nicki despite his public claims of moving on. Meanwhile, Nicki seems to have left the drama behind her. She's married, building her life with her husband and family, and appears unbothered by Meek's antics. When asked in various interviews if there was any hope of reconciling with Meek, Nicki was crystal clear in her response. She stated bluntly that she doesn't care about Meek, saying he's nothing to her. However, she did admit that Meek had reached out in the past to try and bury the hatchet, though she brushed it off, claiming they are now indifferent to each other. Nicki Minaj wrapped up her remarks by saying she's not someone who intentionally takes the low road, but instead mirrors the energy that others bring to her. In her words, "I don't start the fire, but I'll sure as hell match the flames." It's clear this ongoing feud between Nicki and Meek Mill stemmed from the fallout of their messy breakup, a scenario that's become all too familiar in the world of celebrity relationships. Unfortunately, Jay-Z, despite having no direct involvement, managed to catch some stray shots amidst the chaos. The legendary rapper, however, seems completely unbothered by the drama. Jay has maintained his focus on his empire, brushing off the unnecessary noise like a true mogul. Meanwhile, it looks like Nicki and Meek are trying to turn the page and leave the bitterness behind. After all, moving on is the only way forward for both of them, and that's how it should be. But now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Nicki's words hold weight? Is she just exposing the truth, or could this be bitterness from being kicked to the curb, as some suggest? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next juicy update. There's more Hollywood tea brewing, and trust me, you'll want to be here for every drop. See you in the next one.